Hey Ropecon. Olen Alessandro, ole somalainen larpaaja. This is all the Finnish I got, so the rest will be in English. I tried to memorize all my talk in Finnish, but was too much brain capacity. But take this as an homage. So basically, this sentence took me more time than all the preparation for all the talk. So now the stress is over. Now we can be silly. So basically, thank you for being there. I'm Alessandro, co-founder of Chaos Silly Collective. I'm a lab designer, LARPer, lecturer, silly, and proudly Antifa. Not for me, for... Okay. So today we are talking about emotion in LARP, and what are emotion in LARP, what they do to us while LARPing, and above all, can they be generated artificially and how? So I'm a bit nervous because my English is so-so and you are so amazing, so I will ask you for the last time to cheer me up a bit, if you can do that a bit noisy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Having a bit of noise helped me coming from my Italian background, because even just starting on time put me a bit of stress. So at least give me some noise. Okay, so also, I don't know how long I will be. I will respect the time, but I don't know if I will take all the time and eat or your Q&A time at the end. So just in case, if you really feel the urge to ask something, just stop me and I will try to ask on the go. Just raise your hand and we will try. Otherwise, we can talk all over the place, wherever we are in this amazing location. So, let's go. Do you want to start with did someone say etymology? No? Too late. We will go through etymology. So, it's weird because I've heard that. So, emotion come, of course, from French, but as a different, as a complex, of course, etymology, but mainly émouvoir, move, emotion, so motion, so move, something that is dynamic, some setting in motion. So emotion is dynamic. Dynamic means, and this is one of the main topic of this talk, dynamic means body in space, the relationship between body and space, which is very important in LARP. And as you know, if you have a dinner with me, you get obsessed like I am with space, body, and movement for generating emotion in LARP. So sorry about yesterday night, guys. So now, please, I will ask you briefly to close your eyes, just for some seconds, and now remember your greatest emotion in LARP. It can be the greatest, it can be just the most recent, a moment where you really felt a lot of emotion or a big emotion in your LARP. Okay, now you can, no, stay with your eyes closed. If you feel you want to share, just raise your hand, that way nobody can see you. Okay? Raise your hand if you want to share and nobody will see you. Okay, I have 2. Okay, it's enough. Thank you. Can you say that loud? Yeah.
The moment that I felt emotional? Okay, I was playing Just a Little Loving, the American run, and I took a lot of fake drugs and did like an ecstatic dance in the middle of the dance floor, because I was sad about the senator who I was in love with and he didn't love me back. So, yay, emotions!
The last one, please. Yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, please go.
It was the LARP where basically everyone else died besides my family, and it was emotional.
Okay, thank you very much. You can open your eyes. As you can see, emotion can come from everywhere. Drugs, dying family, all this kind of thing. There are also positive emotional LARP. We don't know if it's like utopian, is something we don't know if that exists, but we like to find it out. So basically, how this takes shape, okay? Where is the emotion? Is always spontaneous? This is basically some of the questions we will ask. So, my very pompous definition is, in LARP, emotion is a function of the relationship between space, manipulation, and omnipresence. I will go through that, through this talk, okay? So, let's start with space, of course. So, the German philosopher Gunther Anders asked this question: where are we when we are listening to the music? Not what we are doing, but where are we? We are somewhere. So the question is where we are when we LARP. Of course, we are in the physical location, we embody our character, but where we are exactly, you know? So, the same question is, so what happened to a space when a space hosts a LARP? The space change. If we do a LARP in this room, without moving the wall, of course, but this space will change. Why the space will change? Because we will make that change. Some change we'll do by scenography, of course, but if you play, for example, a chamber LARP or a black box LARP, you don't move anything, there is no scenography. Why this room will perceive it forever for you on a different light? Because you LARP it there. You make room in this room for your emotion, basically. So, and what happened to a space when it hosts a LARP, and vice versa? What happened to a LARP when you place this LARP in the space, from your mind to an actual physical space? So, we can say that LARP is a sort of private geography. So it's personal, is emotional. Have you ever returned to a LARP location after a LARP? Raise your hand if you did it. Okay. And I'm sure you found that the other people, they are using this space in the wrong way. Because it's our space. What are you doing here in this room? This room used to be my partner room. Why are you there? Or any kind of stuff, you know. I'm sure that if you go back in a school after Odysseus, it's not exactly a school. It's a school for the kids who attend the school, for example. So this is why every space has what in Latin say genius loci, the genius, the geniality, the uniqueness of this space. So let's say that each space has its own genius loci, its own characteristics, and it's the combination of all the socio-cultural characteristics, architecture, language, habits. But LARP is so powerful that you can override the genius loci, the original genius loci, with your own genius loci. Create alternative experience and emotion. So it makes that a virtual space. So the stories are false, but the emotions are real. And this is why virtual is not the opposite of real. It's alternative to real, is another reality. And this is what we experience when we go to LARP, and this leads me to, I will do very quickly because it's like the fancy stuff you do when you do game design about LARP, game studies about LARP, you talk about heterotopia all the time. So I will go very briefly what is heterotopia from Michel Foucault. You can read what it is, and let's say it's like where you host the magic circle. The heteros, topos in Greek means other place. So it's like a sort of a space can be, you know, when you're a kid, your parent bed is a bed, but is also your pirate ship when you play with your siblings, or can be the place you hide when you have fear of the monster, or the thing where you have food when you are sick, all this kind of thing. This is an heterotopia. And I discovered personally Nordic LARP, or once again, para-Nordic LARP, post-Nordic LARP, or reverse Nordic LARP, you know, Southern Northern LARP, Southern East, or upside-down LARP. I mean, LARP that take place with different settings that are not the fantasy traditional. I have nothing against them. It's just other subgenre, let's say. But I discovered that we can LARP in a different way through the space. We were doing our fantasy lab with my friend. We were very young, and we had like access to an amazing castle, which was a very small castle, but you know your memory and heterotopia, so for me it's my castle. And the castle had 4 different entrances. And we decided to divide the group of players in 4 subgroups, because it was easiest for us. So every group have a different quest, and every quest lead to a piece, of course, of a broken crown or a broken I don't know what. So basically, the goal was to get all the pieces together. But we have no idea about pacing the game or peak, climax, story arc, nothing of that. So we just say, okay, 4 different quests. Who get the first, and then we will see. Okay? And by pure chance, all the 4 groups ended the quest at the same time and entered the castle at the same time, even now I have goosebumps. And we enter every group from a different ancestors. So we went all together from the 4 sides, and there were these 3 in the middle where everything was, all the 4 pieces. And we look at each other, and after the LARP we say with the other, no, we need to reproduce that. How we can do that? So from that we discovered that in a game you can do design, you can do narrative design, you can pace the game. You don't have to control everything in the game, but you can modulate player agency or chronological order of event. This is mainly by location first, by space first. So, to have emotion in LARP, you need to make room. You need to make space. So, to give you an example of how we need space to interact, to give other people, to lift other people game, we need to make an empty space for them, both physically and mentally. I will go through an example, okay? So, what do we nerds, we can call ourselves that way, dislike a lot, the cliche sports. And what is the sport we hate the most? Football. So the example will made about football. So, and I will try to have my video on YouTube. I don't know if it worked. Probably there is a commercial, but no problem. I just need, okay. Okay, so I will tell you what is the, is that what? Okay, the fake 9 strategy, el falso 9, because come from Spanish football. The number 9 in the traditional football, yes, it's still a talk about LARP, but the number 9 about football is usually the striker, the guy who is most closer to the other people goal because they have to score. So usually the number 9 is the one who is the closest to the goalkeeper, no? So usually the fake 9 is like there. So you have the 2 person on the sides and the number 9 in the middle. And for a long time, the thing was the striker have to take the more space, to be more close to the goalkeeper, to have more chances, and people have to always give the ball to the number 9. And someone say, what about if we put the number 9 a bit behind, you know? And I will go on with the video. Okay. Yeah, it will take 20 seconds. You can enjoy the amazing sport of football. Now, okay, the guys has the ball. This one is the number 9. So usually he should like run as fast as he can this way, okay? But something different will happen. See? Okay, the guy don't run away, they stay in that position. Receive the ball, and the other one is going. The player on the left, which is supposed to not do that. And you do that, then there is space, and then goal, and you can go, yeah! Okay? Basically, this is one of the best explanation I found to explain you what is the fake 9. It means that in the LARP, in the play space, you need to do the same. And also something that stick to my mind is like play space and LARP location are not the same thing. Okay? You have a location, and inside this location there is a space that usually is smaller, but it can be bigger. For example, in Odysseus, if you go in a land mission, the space is bigger than the location. Okay? And then the physical space, the location is the physical space, and space is the result of the design you do inside the location. So this was about the space. It was chaotic, but it's how my mind works. So thank you for bear with me. Hope you find something interesting. Then, point number 2, if you remember, manipulation. What does it mean, manipulation? I have another funny video for that. I don't know how to get it. Okay. Okay. I will get to the video. Okay. Okay. Yeah, more commercial, of course. No. Almost there. No, I just need my point. Why my talk are always so silly? Looks like Mr. Bean of LARP lecturer. I need the pointer. Okay, cats. Yeah, but... Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, maybe some of you know this video. This video basically is a guy in a music festival dancing alone because it was like the afternoon band. Nobody cares about the afternoon band. They are waiting for the headliner. But the guy was so happy and started to dance in a really free way, you know? And of course, nobody was follow him. Because, you know, seen from the outside, these guys makes weird stuff, exactly as LARPer we see from the outside, what they are doing. But they are so much into their mental space that you don't care. And the guy go on. So, basically, this video, I will let the video run while speaking, this video will show you that emotion can be built, can be designed. You can manipulate yourself and the other in a good way to involve them in a physical space. You know, you get one, okay? So this is the intense emotional two people scene in the LARP, you know, just in a different way. And you go with the dance. And LARP is very similar to dance to me. Also because, you know, dance, have you ever tried to explain to someone what is dancing? No, because it's so natural. And also you can say, I mean, dancing described it from the outside. It's like, you hear to the music and you do moves. Yeah, whoa, exciting. You should dance, and when you dance, you say, oh, this was amazing. It's the same with LARP. You know, you dress up, you do stuff, yeah, whatever. Then you try, then you're like, I cannot do that. I will do that for the entire life. So you can manipulate yourself and the others by believing in that and by having an appropriated space. So, and here is where the LARP show its roots that are more, not more, but are a lot into performative art, okay? Instructor performance, whatever, you know, and the more people go in. And this, in the end, if you see that, the guy really go to blockbuster LARP because everyone is going. This is the end of the LARP. The guy dancing convinced an entire hill that was cool, and it was not cool before, okay? So this is why we can create our own story, our own thing. And to go a bit to Bertolt Brecht, you know, is like building emotion. So this quote is called from A Man is a Man, I think is the translation in English, a play from Bertolt Brecht. And yeah, the epic theater, the otherness, all is made. You can do that by yourself. Not only Bertolt Brecht think about that. Also, Finnish sentence is from Boris Vian, the French writer and musician, who write an amazing novel which is called The Form of the Days. And in the introduction of the books, he said, this story in the book is entirely true. I can tell you because I made it up entirely. So, then again, we need space and we need to put our desire into the space and our shared design into the space. In this way, we can make an entire hill dance with us, dance together. So space is the relationship, is the place which hosts the relationship between ourselves and the other. And there is, of course, a friction, because it's not always easy, always pleasant. There is also friction sometimes. For example, when we play, with this two interfaces theory, which is, I gave this name, but other scholar already talk about that, and because it is the interesting relationship between the players and the character. If you are into theater studies, between the mask and the face, you know, is always this double thing. And in this case, let's say that, for example, in a LARP, there is already always the character and the player. The character is what we use to engage with the other participant. It's our device to interact with the other. In this LARP, I am the king. I'm no longer Alessandro, and everybody will address me as a king, and I will use the mask of the king to interact with the other. And of course, we all know that. Through the mask of the alter ego, we place ourselves in the fictional world and follow the narrative of the game. It's like the more fake part of the LARP, you know? It's clearly, this person is clearly not me. There can be some overlap, but if the LARP is well done. I still have is safe. I still have the idea that there are two separate entities that can merge, but they are separated. The player, this is more tricky part, because usually I experience the LARP as a player, as me, as Alessandro, through my body. Because if I cut 100 kilo of potatoes, it's not the king having problem with hard muscle, it's me, it's Alessandro. I really feel more me. When we say that angry LARPer are bad LARPer, it's because my body say, no, stop, you are not the king, you are just Alessandro, you are very angry, so you should eat. So we experience things more individually through our body, and we are more aware of this interface when we are alone. When you walk alone in the location where you do a repetitive stuff, then you get into this state. You are no longer the character because there is no one to interact with, but you're not exactly yourself because you are in another location doing other stuff, things that were unexpected in your life just before the LARP. And this made us have contact with the setting, the virtual world. The story, the relationship are character things. The setting are player thing. So these two interfaces have the same importance. So they work together, and sometimes we slip from one to another without even knowing. So this was about the second point of my talk, the manipulation. Let's go to the third one.
Can I ask one thing?
Yes.
About that, like you were talking about angry LARPer is bad LARPer, but for me sometimes like being put under physical strain has actually had the opposite effect, that it helped me hook. For example, think that someone drags you to the Sahara Desert and they force you to go under the sun and you're thirsty and you're walking. And for me that has helped to put myself in there, grasp
No.
that suffering and identify.
Yeah. I agree, but in this case, for example, to stay on this example, I hope it was clear by the design. So you can design on that, of course, if everyone is agree and there is consent. You can do in this LARP, you will starve, know it. Or you will walk 20 kilometers. Are you okay with that or no? Or it's like mental boundaries. You will experience loss or grief. Are you okay with that? So we can totally play on that. But when you were under the sun, your character feel the sun and Sergio feel the sun too. Okay, so of course it's a tool. It's a tool we should use in a responsible way. But yes, it's not something should be banished, let's say. So, omnipresence, yeah, we talk also about the omnipresence, what means emotion in LARP are everywhere, not everywhere in the location, in every aspect of the LARP. It can be setting, location, costumes, relationship, deep scene, personal or collective narrative arc, in the design, in the game culture, in your moment, because maybe you are in this moment of your life and you LARP and you experience emotion in this way. The same LARP next year will be very different because you are different, are a different person in a different moment. But also we can use space to create them. I will give you an example. Can we play spatially? Spatially, I mean in the space. Very good accent. So yes, and we already did that, sometimes without acknowledge that, without knowing. I will give you an example. At Odysseus, I had 3 weeks ago, run number 1, I can remember, I think it was 3 weeks ago. I had a great game, thanks to the organizer, the volunteer. Game was great, and everybody helped me so much, so bravo. Because I saw some organizer and player here and there. So I tried to, for me it was also special because I tried to play in a different way that I do usually. So I try to use the space as a catalyst for the interaction. You know, how? I will give you another example, but unfortunately it's still about football. I got you twice. So it can be any other game with the ball, but I will go to football again. So in game with the balls, usually you can do the defense in 2 different ways. Many different ways, but let's say 2 are the very different opposite way. Because what is defense in this kind of game? Is control the game, control the space, and trying to knowing what will happen in this game. Try to foresee what could happen in this space, and be ready to react. So, and we have 2 ways. Man to man, yeah, very not inclusive name, but it's person to person, LARPer to LARPer means, as you can see, you have someone to follow. This is your opponent. Stay close to this opponent and prevent them to touch the ball every time you can, all the time. This guy, I used to play football, as you can imagine, and my trainer was, these guys go to the toilet, you go to the toilet with them, okay? You have to see your face as a last thing when close your eyes. It was creepy, but also was a good trainer. And then, as you can see, you really play in couple, okay? You go to someone. I mean, it's very ridiculous, but if you look at some picture of some LARP, you can actually see that small groups, couple of people talking in the same area. You have 3 people there, 2 people over there, 2 people over there, because they are playing together. And usually in LARP that are strongly on personal relationship, you play person to person. You want to have an intense scene, your character sheet say, this is your former lover. Go there and just cry, are broken. And you actually have to find the person in the location. I'm sure if you have ever LARPed, you experience that. Who is this person? I really need to cry. And you go around, you know? And then you find, say, ha! And then, of course, they are speaking with someone else. So you wait for your turn, and you do, you know, your misery cue to wait your turn. But yeah, because you have to chase the space to find the spot of the game, which usually are people. So, and it's nothing against that. I also organize LARP that way. You have to do social game. So talk with the other, and so is person to person. Also, is a way to negotiate. Also in football, you negotiate. Sometimes you say, sometimes it's not saying, but the first 3 minutes of the game, you are not speaking, but saying to the opponent, I will beat you, or I will play fair, or I will do dirty tricks. The first minute is like to read what's going to happen. It's like, caveman negotiation, but still a way of negotiate, okay? So it's something you do in person to person. In LARP, this happens a lot, okay? So you have to do calibration negotiation because you will play person to person. And in the connection, you search for your connection, lovers, enemy, friends. And the game sparkles come from interaction. So this is an important game engine. When you play zonal, as you can see, there are not couple of people. People are in 2 lines, the defense here and there. It means that you don't have an opponent. You don't have to follow this person to the toilet. This is your square, this is your zone. You stay there. If someone step in, then it's your opponent. If the person move, you don't follow them. Someone else in the line will follow them, okay? If 2 people comes, then you're screwed. So this is why there is no perfect way to defend your game, but this is just a way. In Odysseus, I tried to play zonal, okay? So how I did it? I tried I wanted to try something new, so the location also allowed that, because if you have played or seen the picture of Odysseus, basically the location is, which is amazing, is a big square in the middle, where there is the common hall, and then all around you can do ground floor or first floor, you can like turn around, okay? So you can watch like a balcony, or you can play, and all the work is based a lot on your work routine, because a spaceship, everyone has a duty, and the duty were done in the small room, and the social play will be done in the main room. So I say, okay, I will follow that. So I tried to, what I did, I decided to do things and behave in different way according to the portion of location. So for example, there were a bar. My character, of course, is a Finnish character, so I have a terrible situation. Everything was terrible and was amazing. And on top of that, I was addict to alcohol, like severely. And there is no way to stop it. I mean, I tried, but then too much hard stuff happened, so I say, okay, I will go at the bar. Every time I want to be sincere, to be friendly, welcoming, because my character was a broken, nice guy, so the nice guy part will be at the bar. Whoever comes to the bar will experience Rohan as nice guy, because he's part of me. So I did it. And the bridge, the commander, the officer room, I was one of the officer, yeah, he's an alcoholic, so what could possibly go wrong, is where it was my duty. So each time I want to be rational, I want to feel useful, I want to do stuff, I will go to my workplace, even outside of my working shift. I go there and I act differently. And of course, there were also emotional things because I used to be the former captain of the ship. So each time I walk into the bridge, it was also the past me and the regrets of me having fucked up my life, and now I am no longer the captain of the ship. So the bridge was my duty. And also I tried to be in the pilot bay where the people are driving our fighter to do the Star Wars against the enemies. And I tried to go there and to cheer up the pilots and stick around them because they seem to my character like the bravest guy, the guy who had the guts to do what I didn't. And then the magic of LARP happened because it turns up one of the pilots was my hidden son. And when they revealed that to me, I said, well, this is the perfect location to do that, okay? So, and also I use the hallways to physically show my states. Walk the way I want people to see me walk and express through my body what was happening inside me. And also to interact with strangers. I go here and there and try to do that. So I just try to break down the location in different things, in different space with different function. It worked, yes, very well. Also, of course, it's not super strange. It's not something that I invented from scratch. Some LARP already are more about space than about interaction. If you think about black box LARP or silent LARP, you have to use the space. And also, less experimental LARP, less experimental than silent LARP and black box, have dedicated areas, you know? And already people try to go there, like if they want to experience something, for example, the room where cool things happened, or there is a good scenography, or you can encounter this person, or there is something to decipher, puzzle games, this kind of stuff. So I did not invent anything from scratch, but I based my game on space more than people. So that was the interesting takes about this. Also because Latin, again, invent method of loci. So I turned up later, I did something that I believe was new, but no, the Latins already did. But still, because I'm very in favor of reinventing the wheel. I read is an unpopular opinion. I think we need to reinvent the wheel each time because it's our own will. And if we go wrong, we go wrong. We waste time when we think we waste time, usually. So, basically, they invented the method of loci, which is a strategy for memory enhancement, which use visualization of familiar spatial environments in order to enhance the recall of information. This method is a mnemonic device adopted in ancient Roman and Greek rhetorical treatises, you know, the training for people that have to do public speaking. This whole theory came from the banquet, a party from the king's Scopas. Simonide, which was the public speaker for this ceremony, was called outside to the palace to welcome two young men. Just then, while the poet was still outside, the palace just collapsed, barring all the people inside. So he was very lucky. But then, since the faces of the dead were disfigured, the poet was able to give them a name by remembering where they were sitting. So this is where they come from, the idea of having that. So you can put your memories and your emotion in the space. So the last question, I'm about to close that. So are emotion the earth, the core of the LARP? I don't know. Probably yes, but let's say for sure they are very important. They are our keywords to talk each other and to people who are never LARPed. Usually when we try to explain what LARP is to someone, we usually go wrong. Even if we LARP since 30 years, we start with the story, and they're like, oh, your brothers was imprisoned, wow. And then there were everyone against me. It was just me. Yeah, and then? So, no, we start the wrong way with the story because it's very hard to communicate the emotion because you cannot say, I was so happy. Okay? So usually we start to communicate with the setting. I spent a week in a prison. Whoa! On a starship. Yeah! In the Sahara Desert. Whoa! Okay? But then this is just the Trojan horse for the emotion. We know that. When we talk with someone who is not familiar with LARP, you say, yeah, you come for the desert and you go home with other stuff. And you will want more and more what? More emotion, of course. So they create the relationship, the emotion that allows us to co-create. And LARP is, above all, about creating something together. So we need it. It's a very powerful tool because really, LARP is never about the story. For me, it's never about the character, the story arc, the setting, the dynamics, the game design, the cool location. It's not even about you. It's about create something together. It's about look at our life from another perspective for some hour, some days, but basically it's very beneficial for us to not be us for a while. Thank you very much. And I don't know why the last slide is in French. Never finish your slide late at night. Merci beaucoup. Kiitos. Thank you. Grazie. We have time for question. Please. Okay. First of all, I will never try to convince you. I try to inform you what it's about, because there is no game if you force someone to play. I will try to say you something I truly believe. For example, I'm very shy. Personally, Alessandro. And when I LARP, I'm less shy. And also, other people are in the same condition. And also, most important, there is no audience. It's just people playing. It's like when you are tabletop role playing. Yeah, there are 4 people looking at you. Yeah, but nobody's judging you. Nobody's a good actor. If you see movies or footage of people LARPing, my personal opinion, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's like watching people, dancing without dancing. Yeah. Okay. So I think everybody is not a performative act. I mean, it's first-person audience. So just come and be yourself. And there is also, I will try to tell you that there is no way to fuck up, because there is no lines to be learned. There is no scene that you have to perform.
But are there ways to make it easier for people?
Okay. Okay.
Take on that persona and go, okay, I'm not also today, I'm this fantastic show dancer.
Okay. Okay.
With the location or with the...
I will try to trick you in this case. I will invite you to a chamber LARP or to a freeform. If you are a tabletop, you will see that it's easier than you expect. 5 people, not that much scenography, short version. If you know, it's drug dealing. If you like it, I will give you more. There is a, but it's good stuff. There are questions. Can you just please stand up? Okay. I used to think that NPC organizer can lead the way. Now I completely changed my mind in the course of the year. I would rather say to everyone in this LARP, there is a moment. I actually did a LARP that way. Miskatonic University, which takes place in the Miskatonic University in the Cthulhu Mythos world, and with a ball. And I say to everyone, in the end of the LARP, there will be a ball. It's a short scene. Nobody's a good dancer. No problem. It was super scary because you have to sing and to dance, because there is the choir before the hymn of the university. So it's the 2 most scary things. So I explained that beforehand. Then I say people that is not mandatory, because it's true. So in the design, I didn't put that as an essential thing to do, because I know I don't want to force people to do that. And then explain again and again, we are on the same page. There is no professional dancer here, so don't get intimidated. And usually, for example, for the singing part, I have to overcome my fear and my shyness, and there were 120 people in front of me. I say, look, I will start to singing. Me, in front of everyone. And I start to sing. And then they say, it was good? People were, no. Great! You cannot do worse than me. And then we start together, and then we raise the volume, and then only at the end, I confess to people that I am a musicologist, actually. And I hope I create the good environment, and I tell them 2 things. If you sing louder and with a lot of self-confidence, everybody thinks you are doing the right pitch. You know? Because if I say, Laude gaudeamus igitur, okay? Gaudeamus igitur. Now it's not the right pitch, but you think I am doing that well, because how these guys can do that way, okay? It's like dancing. If you see someone move, it's dancing. If you really analyze the guy, it's horrible. So just to say, I put co-creation more than example to answer in a serious way. Okay. Other questions? What? Like the king cut potatoes. Yeah, was not really a good example. There is a question over there. Changed a lot because I start to go to be around the international crowd, and this was a big revealing for me. I discover something that now are really clear to me, but it wasn't. So I will shock you. I discovered that safety is a thing. You know, that I discovered that not everyone is a white able cheese at men. I tried in my LARP. Now there is not only representation of people like me, because it's the natural thing. You have to do something and you take example on you. Okay, so this, and also the co-create. The main achievement was now I trust player way more than before. I don't think they are little child. You need to guide them every step, but you can, if you create the right context, then there will be like a sort of creativity sparkling all together. So yeah, I discovered co-creation. Basically, I discovered LARPing. But it was a long way. So. And on that note, thank you very much. Yeah. Oletko valmis? Mitä kuuluu? It's over. Thank you very much. Kiitos.